If I could talk to my 20-year-old self right now, this one is for the younger me, and maybe for the younger you, if you are ready to stop repeating the same cycles, okay? Listen. Hey guys, it's Jovi and welcome back to my channel. Please don't forget to like this video on your way in, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow me on my other social media sites. I'm Jovi Beauty on all sites. So please follow, please subscribe. Okay, support your girl, support your girl. Don't forget to go over to our website, jovibeauty.com, and get you one of our pieces of dope ass merch. All purchases this month will be coming with a free gift. Last but not least, don't forget, y'all know you can always do what? Donate to the channel. It is thoroughly appreciated. Okay. All right. Hold on. How is everyone doing? Let me check my settings. Let me check my settings. Okay, everything is good. So, guys, I want to talk to you and I want you to talk back to me about things that we, hindsight 2020, look back on and wish we knew better. Okay, wish we knew better, wish we did not, wish we would have taken a different route. Okay, so let's begin. Again, I don't even have a list. I saw this topic as as a suggested topic for me, and I found it real interesting, and I said I want to come and talk about it. Okay, so we're gonna start with, I guess, the major thing, and I'm not going to get into specifics because that doesn't matter, but just real surface levels. If you know or do not know, I got married when I was 24, literally 20 years ago. Jesus Christ, I would have been married for 20 years. It just hit me. Oh shit, I'd have been married for 20 fucking years, girl. Bye. All right. I got married 20 years ago and I was 24 years old, and whatever's clever, it doesn't even matter. But I do regret getting married so early in life. I feel like if I did not get married at 24, I would have known who I was better. My picker would have been a little better. And if I would have waited to at least if I was in my 30s or close to my 30s, then I think that I probably would have still been married. I wouldn't have such well, I still think I would have issues with people getting married so early. So one thing I definitely want to add to the list is getting married way too early. I see girls who get married at like 18, 19, and they're 24 and are going through it because, again, they married when they were children, and now once your brain develops at 25, that's when you start to really understand these things. So I really suggest not getting married to at least 25, but I honestly, I give it about 30. I would really give it about 30, okay, to do that. One of the reasons I did that, and I guess stayed or whatever, and I guess this also has to do with school. I took I took like 2 years off, 3 years off before I, went back and continued and got my degree. And at the time, I thought I was so old. At the time, I felt so old. Okay. I wish I would have understood the assignment and that I was not like old. I really was sitting around here 25 years old thinking that I was old and it was just, and this is as good as it gets. And like the pressure we put on ourselves and, our family puts on us to get it together. I come from a long line of married people with children, et cetera, et cetera. So I feel like, and that's why I don't do these things now. I had a long conversation with my teenager yesterday, and I was like, you don't ever have to get married if you don't want to, because like the pressure like as soon as you hit 18, talking about when you gonna get married, when you gonna give me a grandbaby. All that shit was piling up on me, and it made me feel older than I was. So if I could talk to my 20-year-old self, I would definitely tell her, girl, please don't get married. And even if you did, which I did, I thought that I wait, let me keep this shit in order. One, don't get married. Two, enjoy, your youth isn't over after you hit like 22, 23, because for some whatever reason we think it is. um don't waste time in situations that is not doing you well. Like, I stayed in that relationship, that marriage, way longer than I should have, and a part of me back then thought, oh, I have time, it's okay, it's okay. But the reality is, once you waste time on things that don't suit you, you don't really get that back. Right? You don't really get that back. And you realize you spent 4 or 5 years in a situation where you could have, and that's why I tell y'all all the time, wasting time in a situation when you could be out and then maybe find a person that you were supposed to be with. Like, honestly and truly, if I would have, because I kind of like, honestly, I'm not even gonna say by year one, probably a couple of months before, after I was, tied the knot, I knew it was a bust. Okay. I knew it was a bust, and I didn't see any way of it coming back. And it just didn't. And I feel like if I would have just accepted that and not had the urge to try to keep trying to fix something that was irreparably broken, um and just got out when I knew I should have, and did not just keep chucking through and attempting to chuck through, I think it would have saved me time, you know. It would have put me in a lot of better positions. Like, one, I was supposed to do a lot of things, and being locked down and tied down to somebody who really didn't want the best for you kind of stumped me for a little bit, so I would tell my younger self to, and it's funny because, again, I have a girl who I'm going to probably interview one of these days next week. I think we're going to do a live stream so y'all can ask her questions, and she made this comment, that she wanted to go overseas, and her ex-husband was against it, right? But they were already having problems, and she just said fuck it, and she left. Right? If I would have listened to my heart and my soul and what was best for me at the time, instead of worrying about somebody who, ain't, I should have gotten out of that. One, I shouldn't have been in the situation. Okay. But I would have gotten out of the situation a lot earlier. I would have been able to do, I remember a specific study abroad program that I actually got accepted to, but couldn't do it because, your husband don't want you to go, all this stupid shit. I probably would have had a completely different life. Okay. My kid would have probably been, definitely would have been somebody else's. She would have been younger, but I don't feel like, she wouldn't have been born. She probably would have looked different, right? She probably would have looked different, had a different dad or whatever. But I think it would have benefited my life. I think a lot of things we are scared of and think, we're going to get judged about, or, worried about what everybody else thinks. And this picture perfect picture in our minds stunts us a lot of the time. And if we just acknowledge it, accept it, and just live for ourselves, especially in our 20s. That's why I tell so many girls to go live your life, enjoy yourself, go outside. I'm not going to say that I wasn't outside, especially before I was 24. I was in these streets, but I could have had more time being outside, doing what was good for me, focusing on myself. Wouldn't have been in such in a lot of positions, because, again, I said I don't want to really go into specifics. I wouldn't have been in a lot of positions I was in at the time, or like right after the marriage, if I would have just listened to my gut in the first place. So I would tell my 20-year-old selves to listen to your gut. Stop trying to grow up so fast. It was a big, to me, it was like I was the first one of my cousins in my age range to get married. So, it was like, oh, but like at the end of the day, who really cares? Who really cares at the end of the day? Who really cares? You think it's important in your 20s, you think it's a big deal, but hindsight 2020, with age and experience, you realize that it wasn't as big a deal as you thought it was. And it definitely took away opportunities and things that I would have experienced, um, had I not been in that situation. Okay. What else? I want y'all to put what you would have told your 20-year-old self if you could speak to her now. Um, I would have definitely told her to invest in Microsoft and Apple. I'd have definitely told her to invest in Microsoft and Apple. I would have told her to understand the people around you. Okay. One of the school before I went, one of my she wasn't a professor. She worked in my major's office, right? She worked in my major's office. It was this older lady. She was from Brooklyn. And, she liked me, old ladies like me regardless. She was like, old Italian lady, if I remember correctly. It was a long time ago. And she told, she was like, you should tell me I would do great. Just get the Brooklyn out my voice. And I kind of took that as an insult. But hindsight 2020, now that I'm older and I realize what she's saying, it wasn't necessarily get the Brooklyn out your voice like a black thing. She had Brooklyn in her voice, right? It was more of to be able to be palatable, I guess, to other people. Um, so that's one thing. To take the opportunities that are given to you. That's another thing, right? Because I had a lot of opportunities when I was young, and I was so focused on go working at Vogue, right? I turned down so many opportunities that, again, hindsight 2020 would have been okay for me, would have been a decent situation, but again, I was going through turmoil in my personal life. So, going through crazy shit puts you in positions where you're not making rational decisions, right? But I would have told her to take the position at the black owned PR firm and not just try to wait for one of these big firms. I would have told her that, like, it matters, because at that time you think, you just have to work hard and be twice as good and it'll be okay. But it really, sometimes, a lot of the times, it's not. And I got offered position. I could have had a city job, because I did an internships in a marketing department for a city organization. They offered me a full-time job. Like I said, the black PR firm, I was just like, I don't want to get pigeonholed in a black company. But again, hindsight 2020, that probably would have helped, right? It probably would have helped me. And it was a lot harder to get into. I eventually did, but it was a lot harder to get into these other firms and organizations, right? It didn't matter how well I did in school. It didn't matter any of that, right? Because I still showed up as me, you know? So I would tell her that to take every opportunity offered to you, especially when it's coming from black people or people who, want you to win. Like, take every opportunity. Like, I listened to a lot of people. Like I said, the lady in the admin office, I listened. She was cool. She taught me a lot, but I feel like I should have listened more. At that age, we think we know everything, right? I'm big, I'm grown, I'm married, I know what I'm talking about. The reality is, you think you know what you're talking about, but as you get older, you realize that you don't, right? Like when you in your 30s, you realize you were stupid in your 20s. And even when you're in your 40s, you realize things that you should not have done, or et cetera, in your 30s. And I more than likely, when when I get to my 50s, I'm gonna think about the times in my 40s when I did shit that, like, why you do that? But why you do that? It's just natural, and it's okay. And it doesn't mean that you're stupid. It means that you're just learning life, and nobody expects you to know everything. I think we kind of expect ourselves to know everything the minute we turn 18 years old or whatever. We're just we feel like, or maybe the world tells us, we're just expected to know, right? And it's okay not to know and to continue learning. That's what I've learned. It's okay not to learn and continue learning, right? I remember starting this channel, I was all about marriage. I'm still, I still love a good marriage, but it has digressed now into only in only in the most excellent situations where you are married, right? I would never, couple years ago, let alone in my 20s, suggest, like I suggest now, maybe you might want to go to a sperm bank or something like that. I wouldn't have suggested that then, but now I suggest it all the time. It's okay. And honestly, if you're not learning, you're dying. Okay. So I wish I would have been able to understand that, and understand that I don't know everything, but I needed to be as selfish as fuck and been okay with it. Being just selfish as hell, thinking about myself, my betterment, what am I getting out of the situation? Listen, it might sound crazy, but looking back on it, when you are in those situations in your 30s, and not really now, but like especially like in my early to mid 30s, I was really looking back on it like, that was some stupid shit. Why you do this? But like, at the end of the day, a lot of those things were learning lessons and things that I had to go through. And I just wish that I would have just acknowledged that and took that earlier, right? And not wasted time, energy, and whatever into things that did not suit me. Okay, into things and people and situations that did not suit me. So I really wish I would have done that. um what else in my 20s, I wish I would have. I traveled a little bit, a little something, but I really started doing that in my 30s. But I wish I would have got my ass on planes more often. I wish I would have went. I told y'all when on my 40th birthday, when we went to St. Bart's, that I wanted to go to St. Bart's since I was in my 20s, like for real. Like probably since I was like 21, 22, I knew about this place, and I wanted to go. And I ended up going there, and I will be back because it's a beautiful place. But I wish I would have made the leap when I was younger, okay? And not just felt like I had to be chucking through and working through. But again, also that had to do with being married, a lot of that, and needing to be an adult at the time and do things to worry about not only myself but another person and another, a whole other thing, and having a family. That's why I said focus on being selfish as hell and thinking about yourself. And if you want to go on a trip, go on a trip. If you want to get this bag, girl, you work every day, you could pay your bill. You was doing it before you was married, so you work every day, you was paying your bills, you going to school, you can go on this trip, you can buy the bag that you want, you can do all of that without having to ask somebody else if it's okay. And they don't want you to do it because they kind of be a lot of, and I'm not just talking about my experience, but a lot of especially a lot of these men now, they're saying it out loud. They kind of truly and really and truly want you stuck in positions. And I wish I did not allow myself to feel stuck, Because I tell you all the time, you're not really stuck. You feel stuck. You think you're stuck, but we're never stuck in any situation. There's always a way out, okay? But at allowing myself to not feel stuck and continue to experiencing the life that I tried to before I got whatever and got married. I wish I would have been able to tell my younger self to do that. What else? I wish I would have told my younger self to start working out earlier. Okay, I was thin, I was whatever, and I love working out, but I feel like if I would have started when I was younger, I wouldn't be fucking 44 years old having to make sure I go work out every day so I can keep myself looking okay. I think if I would have started 20 years ago and it would have just been a regular thing, that I could have still fit in my size 6 without a problem. I believe that. I do. I also would have told myself to just, and I kind of did, but not as much as I do now. Just accept shit for what it is. Accept people for what it is. Like I kept friendships that I shouldn't have kept. I was around people and being friendly and giving of myself to people who called themselves my friend at the time, who literally just took advantage of the situation because I had a good heart, right? I wish I would have just been able to recognize snake behavior and just acknowledge it for what it was. Now I'm real good at it. I'll cut your ass off in a heartbeat because, again, well, I guess also trial and error. When you've been through something, better. But I just wish I would have not wasted so much time trying to keep friendships that I did not necessarily need to keep, that were never beneficial to me, right? I remember one particular incident, not a that's an incident, a situation between two of my friends. And one of them, we were really close, but she could not stand that I kept taking up for this other girl who was trash. Hindsight 2020, she was trash, and she just took advantage. She took advantage of, my kindness. She took advantage of my mom's kindness. We were like 20 years old. She damn near lived with me. My mom would buy her clothes and all this shit. She didn't have a good home life. And it didn't hit me that she was actually, because again, I guess I wasn't raised like that, but like she was using me for these things, right? And I've lost another friend who was like a real friend to me, who I actually knew before her, because she just didn't want to be around the shit, right? And I wish that I would have been able to recognize it for what it was, see that, and prioritize the people in my life who really gave a fuck about me, and not prioritize, because I found, especially back then, attempting to prioritize people that needed me, right? I felt my other friends didn't need me. And even though it wasn't no issues and no whatever, I just felt like I had to be helpful. Y'all know how I am. I just had to be helpful. This person needs somebody, but like they could figure that's not my responsibility. Boom. And I would have, I went around until I figured the word out, figured the proper wording or what I was trying to say out. I wish that I would have recognized that it wasn't my responsibility, especially 19, 20, 21, all of those ages, to be helping people out when I am still a child myself, or to put people and their bullshit and ignore shit that I know is crazy because they ain't raised right, or they grew up crazy, so they think this shit is normal. And just not allowing that weird shit around me, right? Because now, even in my life now, I refuse to have people like that, or people that I think give any sort of that energy around me. So I wish that I would have been able to see that then. Um, I wish I would have went to therapy. I wish I would have went to therapy back then. I think a lot of these issues, again, if I would have worked out with a therapist, would have changed the trajectory and the dynamics in a lot of relationships that I had or had at the time. Like, so I wish I would have just, comprehended and understand that, even again, and I repeat that even though you're legally an adult, you still need assistance, right? You still need to be able to work these things out, talk these things out. You still need somebody rational around you that doesn't have an ulterior motive, right? Because even your parents, especially at that time, they want children, they want grandchildren, and they want you to get married, and they want you to whatever, friends who need you, a dude who needs you, or you need to be worried about. And hindsight 2020, and around worried about these men's more than you worry about yourself, situations. And I feel like if I would have just had that sort of uh not invested sort of conversation with somebody on a regular basis like I do now, it would have changed it would have changed a large portion of my life. Okay, I was running my mouth for 26 minutes. I want to look into the comments and see what y'all wish y'all regret. Hey, Sierra. Sierra said, I regret some exes and peers I chose to call friends. That seems to be a overarching regret for a lot of people. Please don't forget to like this video. If you're watching, you support the channel. Like I told you, we are adjusting our content, so expect these sort of videos. I was gonna make a video about it, but I decided I have a topic to go to live stream about, so I decided that's what we're gonna do today. Hey, sweetest girl, how are you? And again, don't forget, if you can, donate to the channel. The information is going across the bottom of the screen. It is thoroughly appreciated. We don't care if it's $5, $10. We don't care what it is. All donations help, okay? Thank you. She said, it's okay. It was society at the time. They say late 20s is old and mid 30s. I'm 28 and learning it's not. Yeah, it was the society at the time, because I was like 25 feeling like some grown ass woman. At hindsight 2020, I was a fucking child figuring out the world. I was a child figuring out the world. Hey, Kai, how are you? I remember when you said someone kept you from a study abroad opportunity. She said it took me back to when an ex or two almost took that from me. Teenage pressure. Yeah. And I regret that. I regret so many things that happened back then. And like I said, I just wish that I kind of raised my daughter, but she's an only child, so she's a little selfish anyway. But maybe it's because I'm the first child, and I was parentified my whole life. I just feel like I should have been thinking about myself. I should have been, and I give selfish. I ain't gonna hold you. It's not like I don't give selfish, but like when things mattered. Like, I wish I would have been more selfish and thinking about me and my future and what I wanted, and not keeping the peace and not keeping the peace. Whether that's with friends, whether that's with people you date or marry or whatever, and not being so, you should not be thinking about other people and making lifelong decisions for your life based off of somebody at 20. I think women not being honest with what they really want is the problem. Our lives, damn near predetermined for us. Married, baby, raising a family. I didn't want kids till my 30s. Made it to 18. Yeah. That's another reason that when I say to y'all that the marriage rate is dropping, people having babies, the birth rate is dropping. I am so happy. We live in a generation now where you can do that. Like, I felt pressured to be able to. I didn't really want to get married. In my mind, I kind of comprehended that we were too young, but like the pressure and just going along to get along, to make everybody happy, make my parents happy, make him happy, make, everybody else happy, make the people at the church happy. I used to go to church, make people at the church happy, because, you can't be fucking in sin. You can't be living in sin, all of this bullshit. Think about everybody else and like the pressure they put on us. And a lot of those times, shit, I ain't gonna hold you. A lot of people, I think I escaped, a little scarred, but I'm cool. There's a lot of people who are in those positions who did not escape so unscarred. A lot of people I know that were in those positions and did what you were supposed to do, what they told us we were supposed to do, and it did not turn out great. I don't know too many people, and I know a lot of people who got married really early. That's just that's just the shit I'm around growing up. I know a lot of people who, were married and, children and all of this shit really early, even earlier than me. And not too many of them are really in happy marriage. If they're still married, not too many of them are in good marriages. They still feel stuck. And that's a shame. We got a donation. Thank you so much. DC sent a donation. DC said, have a beautiful weekend. Cha-chang, chang. I don't want to shake too much. I don't want, as a sports bro, we don't need a show. Change the rules. Change the rules. Cha-chang, chang. Cha-chang, chang. Change the rules. Change the rules. Thank you so much, DC, for your donation. If you don't know, we do donation dances over here, okay? Thank you and thank you. All right, let's get back into the comments. She said, I'll spare telling y'all. Don't spare it. We want it. Don't spare it. We want it. Because we trying to teach the girls, if and when they ever come across this video, we want them to know what are those things. So they might be going through it. And they might, she said not to be a single mom. Yeah. One of the friends that I told you she was a bad energy, she was a single mom. She had her baby, if I remember correctly, at like 16. Because remember, they was having babies early back then. And like, it stumped her life. And like, I know that, people, you can move on, you can do what you got to do or whatever. But like, even though, I got married and between that like 18 and 24 situation, when I got into that foolishness, I was cool. I was living my life. Again, I should have taken a little bit more this opportunity, of course. But my friends who had children early, like, they felt like their life was over for real. And that being connected to your kid and not like a man, you can always throw the man away, kind of sucks. And I wish for a lot of them that they would have just waited a couple more years. I'm happy that we aren't in a place anymore, because like, I remember back then, if you got pregnant, and it didn't matter if you were Black American, Caribbean, it didn't matter. This is how they were, okay? they would literally make you have this baby. They wouldn't want you to go get a abortion or nothing like that. And it always is weird, because I know they wouldn't want you to do that. They'd be like, because you wanted a playground, so now you got a playground, so now you got a baby, and it's kind of like your parents push punishment on you. But a lot of those same situations, they don't want you to have an abortion or whatever. But let that girl get pregnant again, them same people are telling her she need to go have an abortion because she could hardly take care of the one kid she got. It kind of felt like a punishment. It kind of felt like, here, take this thing to latch your life down like my life is latched down. I know a lot of parents who are like that. I know a lot of parents who were like that. And maybe I don't think they saw it that way, but I saw it that way. And it scared the shit out of me, child. That's why I didn't have a baby till I was damn near 30. And again, I should have waited still longer. I had my son 3 weeks before my 19th. I started working for a home health agency, taking care of people for 6 years, was a janitor at college, and I wanted to go too, but was a teen mom and had to make money. Yeah. Like, even in my what's happening, I don't know. I didn't have a kid. And I think that's why I was so willing to help her, because I already knew I wasn't going to do none of that shit. I already knew I had to get married before I was having no babies. Okay. I was going to be no teen mom. I knew that. Okay. But I just felt like I had to help her because she had this son, and like her life was like drowning, and it I know it wasn't my responsibility and I was supposed to be thinking about me or whatever, but I comprehend that shit is hard, because you're not going to have the help you think you're going to get. Those people that, I'll help babysit and I'll do this and I'll do that. They'll do what they can do. But at the end of the day, a parent is 24/7. I had my child when I was 30. No, 29. Don't make me older. 29. I had her when I was 29 years old. Yeah. I pregnant at 28, had her at 29. Okay. I think. Okay. Well, yeah. I don't know what kind of parent I would have been if I would have had her at like 19, 20. I don't know if I would have had the mental capacity, the knowledge, the, whatever, that would have created a situation for her that she is in now. And again, if I would have waited even longer, till it was a even better situation, she would be even now in a better situation. You understand what I'm saying? I feel like the longer you wait, the more you know as a person. Like, if I would have had a baby at 19, would I been thinking of, would I even had time to be the crazy PTA mom I am now? No, I wouldn't have had time, because I would have had to been working 2 or 3 jobs. And even though a lot of those times I was working 2 or 3 jobs to make sure I paid my rent and all of this shit, I didn't have the responsibility of another human being. I don't think she would have been in a position to be like, for me to have been trying to get her into boarding school when we were trying to get her into boarding school. It wouldn't even have clicked in my mind, because I'm still a child. I would have still been a child myself. Still trying to attempt to learn the world and things. And, because I waited to at least as long as I waited, I had experiences in life and, people or whatever, was able to get my education, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it opened my eyes up to things that I would not have even knew of, knew existed, let alone know how to do it, if I would have had her at like a teenager. Right. And I'm not, it is what it is. It happens. But that's why I'm a stern believer in, like, let this birth rate go drop to hell. And you don't even need to be thinking about kids until you got your life in order. 30 plus. I don't care if you so in love at 23. Don't do it. Don't. I started telling y'all, there's some friends I let stay too long. Yeah. Some friends, some men's, you know. And don't get me wrong, I was real quick at showing niggas the door, but I got caught up. We all get caught up every once in a while, you know, and it's like, damn, because it's so unlike me. But again, I was young and I didn't have the common sense God gave me. Y'all see my finger? It broke. I was doing something and it fucking broke. My daughter was laughing at me. But anyway, I'll go get it fixed. The whole damn nail came off. And y'all know these are my actual nails. The whole damn nail came off. I was like, oh my God. I'm just glad it didn't pull up from my skin. So it's all right. She said, yes, Jovi, you spoke to my soul, took advantage of my heart. You said the best thing to do is be cool, be. I'm about to embrace it. I remember a quote that said, stop watering your garden and see how many people will help. Yeah. Stop watering your garden and see how many other people will help. The burden of everything and everybody. It's too much. It was too much. She said, Sierra said, I remember being age shamed as a kid. Now people my age didn't make it. So embrace being wise beyond my years. I agree. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play my commercial. No, I did not get around to re-editing it. If y'all seen, we got stories going everywhere. I've been editing and doing and working, okay? But I am going to get this video redone. But until then, hey guys, don't forget to go to my website, jovibeauty.com, where our items are not only sourced and procured with you in mind, but also with what's going to be dope this upcoming season. All right. So go to my website, jovibeauty.com, get you a new scarf, get you a new mug, get you something cute, and support the channel. It is greatly appreciated. Hey, Bree, I just see you in Bree's in the chat. I got to get hydrated. I'm going outside and go work out, you know. Hey, Bree, how are you? She said that's our nature. She said that's our nature as women, to care for others. Hold on. She said that's our nature as women, is to care for others' wants and needs over ours. And males are taught to take it without giving anything in return but babies. I don't know if that's our nature. Because listen, peep what you said. Just peep what you wrote. You said that's our nature, but men are taught. I don't really think that's our nature. I think we are programmed to do that our whole lives. Like I was programmed my whole life to know that I had to get married. I knew that. Everybody around me told me that. Everything I saw told me that. I definitely had to get married. You know, first come love, then come marriage, then come your ass with a baby carriage. These are programs, right? I think that we are programmed, aka we are taught this. It is expected of us, right? And now we live in a generation where these girls do what the fuck they want. These girls say, I don't want to get married. They ain't get married. These girls say, I don't want no children. Guess what? They childless, then a motherfucker. They don't want it. And they are able to stand on it and say, I don't want it. And you know what? They took it off the back of our generation. I give it to them. Okay. Because a lot of us we weren't like our mothers or our big cousins or whatever. We were getting to a place where I don't know about this. I don't know about this. Like if I was 10 years older, I probably wouldn't have left my marriage when I did, if I would have ever, right? Like it was coming along. And now we're at a time where the girls are like, no, get somebody else to do it. That's why a lot of these men are in a fucking turmoil, because we have evolved, we're growing, and it's like, okay, we like to be nurturing on occasion, but again, we're taught that. And these men are still being taught the same things that they were being taught in previous generations, and it's not working anymore. So yeah. I don't know if it's I don't know, because we can't say nature and then talk, because then is it in their nature to be trash, to abandon their children, to whatever? They see it's acceptable, so they do it. They're taught a lot of the times that, it's hindsight, real shit. A lot of these men are taught like it's okay to abandon your children, because they've seen that they were abandoned a lot of the times. It sucks, but Sarah said, I agree. The ones that I noticed who got married in their early 20s were divorced quick, but the ones in their 30s lasted longer. I seen a video about that. I thoroughly believe, I know, just from the people that I know, just from, again, you don't know who you are. You're growing. Your brain is not even fully developed to 25. You're still trying to figure these things out. That's why I do not agree with it. By the time they figure it out, that's why people who get married when they like 20, 21, by like 26, they divorce. DC said her best friend has been married for over 30 years and 6 kids later, still happy. We have known her hubby, since we were 15. Okay. She said, I remember when parents say you'll understand when you are older and have your own. Listen, I think a lot of the times our parents didn't talk to us about those type of things. We came from generations that, were just supposed to do and listen. A lot of us came from situations, where we weren't even supposed to date until we were 18, which puts your daughter at every fucking time in a bad position. And I think a lot of us, even though I know young girls my age who have older children or whatever, but like they taught their children just from their experiences, no, I'm gonna tell you what's up, because I don't want because my mama never told me, and I don't want, and that's how I ended up in a situation. And I love you and all of that, but I wish I would have waited. And we are in a generation now where, like I said, I had a whole I always talk about the stuff, but I made sure, and I'm like, you don't really ever have to get married. If all, and I even told her, you don't actually have to have children if you don't want to. And she was like, so she says, so the mother of my mother lineage, because this is how we speak. I say things like the mother of my mother is don't worry, it's crazy, whatever. She was like, so the mother of my mother's lineage dies with me. I was like, listen, your uncle, her youngest uncle, like he gonna have children one of these days, and we'll be their ancestors. I'm just like, I'm just like, do what you want to do without any expectations forced on you by what you think I want you to do. The only thing I want you to do is to have a good, successful life. Okay. Don't think like a lot of us thought, like, oh, I gotta get married. I have to give my grandma, or give my mom grandkids and all of that. So you don't have to worry about that. What brings you happiness, what brings you joy, make sure that when you do, and if you do, you can do it all on your own. if need be. And hindsight 2020, it's always cool. You can always go to a sperm bank. Ain't nothing wrong with that. She was like, Mom. And I think if our parents would have spoken to us more like that, well, shit, I ain't gonna hold you. My grandmother used to speak to me like that. She used to speak to me crazy. And I didn't understand half of the shit she used to say until as I got older. But even I ain't gonna hold you. Without her, 'cause my mother didn't speak about stuff like that. She was too busy doing, working and doing. But I got those things from my grandmother. And I think if I didn't get a lot of that, I don't know if I would have been able to maneuver and get myself out of situations when I said, you know what, fuck this shit. Or even recognizing the fact that this ain't cool. I need to get myself the fuck up out of this situation. I think it would have took a lot longer for me to recognize that shit without having that. Even again, hindsight 2020, I was too young to comprehend fully half the shit she used to say to me. But as you get older, that's what she meant. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow me on my social media platforms. I'm Jovi Beauty. I'm Jovi Beauty on all platforms. Please follow. Okay. I thought I read something else. I'm an empath, found out. That was 6 years ago, but I used to think I was hell of emotional, but I had a real big heart and was compassionate and hated to see people hurt. Had to stop to be realistic. Yeah, I'm like that. I want to be helpful, but like the reality is, like you know how they say even on an airplane, you got to put your mask on first. You can't help other people put their mask. You have to put your mask on first. And just being more selfish and thinking about me. Because I was Captain Save-A hoe. I was Captain Save-A bitch, okay? All the time. Try to help people or whatever. And as a good, it was a good thing to do. But like, I could have put a lot of that energy in myself. And I also think that, especially for certain people, me helping them didn't help them. Right? Me helping them didn't help them. Me helping them or being helpful or having a mom where, she would be okay with you coming and stay there because, you don't, your mom might have kicked you out or whatever, because it also builds resentment in other people. You think you're doing a good job. You doing, that's why even now, sometimes I pull back and I'll be like, because it can build resentment. People really dislike if you're a good fucking person. They'll take advantage of it, but they really can't stand it because it's you think you better than me because you helpful, or you can't help and you helping. Who you think you are? You're supposed to be fucked up and selfish. I don't know. Maybe it comes from their scarcity mindset or whatever. I don't know, but hindsight 2020, I wish I would not have done half the things that I've done. I've told y'all stories. I had a girl living with me for like 2 years. 2 years. It was like it might have been 3. It might have been 3. And like, I'm the worst person in the world. Real shit. Living with me, fucking rent free. All you had to do was pay the light bill, and she ain't even pay that. And I'm the worst person in the world. I've helped people raise their kids, fucking get somebody to beat the shit out of their abusive boyfriends that was knocking them and their kid between the washers and dryers. And I'm the bad guy. So much things that, sometimes I feel like, and I don't want to say it like, but shit, fuck it, I'm going to say it, that maybe if I would have just stepped back and allowed people to fall on their face and not trying to be there to catch you, trying to be there to help you and catch you, they might have fell, but maybe it would have been quicker for them to get back up. maybe it would have been quicker for them to get back up. Maybe, it wouldn't have been it's my, using me as a reason as to why you miserable, or you whatever, or you going through whatever, because you can't see, or you just choose not to see all the shit that I'm doing for you. Sweetest girl said, I helped a lot of people, and I literally almost lost my mind from the Hurricane Ida 4 years ago. Lost almost all my stuff, and nobody helped me. Grew up in a church where they help strangers. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry that happened to you, but yeah. Help everybody, but when you need, no, they're not there for you. Shit. Family, friend, because you so helpful, because you have put into others, you pour into other people, and ain't nobody pouring into you. And then they don't even think they have to pour into you, because for them, why are you helping people if you need people to pour into you? She should have saved your porridge. I said porridge. You should have saved your porridge, Hold on. We have our first caller. Hey girl.
Hey, Jovi.
How you doing? You could go ahead and talk. I'm
I'm
running to the room in the back for a second.
okay. I'm glad we talked about this conversation because actually I've been going through some, I guess, self-reflection and not to say I guess say regret, but there's some things I wish I could have done differently.
Yeah.
Like, like I said in the chat, I grew up in a church, so we, not we, but they tried to from biblical things, from just way back. I don't know why, but they try to have it's more like women are subservient to men.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a lot of
I don't
church.
know why. Yeah, maybe back in the
Oh, I don't know what just happened. Click back up, sweetest girl. I don't know what just happened. I don't know. All right, just click back up and I'll bring you back up. Um, but yeah, that happened. Shoot, I remember. I told you I used to go to church. That's why I don't do religion. That's one of the main reasons I don't do religion, because they will push you. They will sit up and act like all of that horrible shit is appropriate behavior, and they won't help you. They won't do nothing. They'll, and that's a lot of these religions. Okay, and I find that um especially men who try to get into religion, or really religion, as a setup for disaster, because in their mind they know that they use it to try to control you, right? So I'm not into religion at all. But yeah, the Swedish girl, just click the link. I don't know what happened. um uh After my divorce, I put myself in therapy for 3 years. I probably should have went to therapy right after my divorce, but it's fine. Um, she said, "We yes, we are indoctrined into the suffering, and I don't know." And that's why they even saying now, look at Christian nationals and all of this. Like, religion at its core, in my opinion, is used to keep people submissive and doing what they want you to do. And with women, it is tenfolds. No matter what the religion is, they want you under their fucking foot. She said, yeah, I don't believe that women are naturally nurturing. Some women don't bond with their kids just like men. It's just not acceptable. Yeah, I think people, people are people. I think we're raised to be nurturing. And like you said, even there's some people, I know a lot of people who don't really, they'll raise their kids, but like, do you really love them? I don't know about all that. It's just you do what you're expected to do. So I don't know. She said she gotta find her headphones. Okay. Oh no, that was before. How women do tend to want children more than men. I don't think so. London. I think a lot of women, a lot. You know how they say, or they used to say, women trap men with babies? I don't think so. That was one of those things that's like, reverse. It's a lie. I think a lot of the times, I got you, sis. I think a lot of the times it's men. That's why these men are out here and they'll have 85 baby mamas, right? It's not about the child, it's about the conquest. It's about having them feeling like they have their hooks on you. I believe a lot of the times women don't necessarily want children, it's just expected of them. And when they come across somebody and they think they in love, and this man talking about, oh, he want to have. I just saw a video of this girl. It's on Instagram. It's on the Shade Room, I believe. I got you in a second, sweetest girl. She's 41 years old, and she was messing with a married man or something. Him and his wife is separate. I don't know. But it's up there right now. I think they posted it today or at least last night. And he wants her to have an abortion and all of this shit. And she was like, yo, because he kept wanting to do was telling me he want a baby. And now I'm pregnant or whatever. And I thought she was saying she might have had an ectopic pregnancy, but everything is okay or whatever. And now he's like, oh no, me and my wife getting back together, so have an abortion. I think a lot of that happens. I think these niggas just want to a hook in you. Like when Offset told Cardi, oh, you're worthless because you my baby mama now, even though they was married. I don't think that women really want to have these children. I think it's men and it's society forcing it on us. Hey, girl.
Jovi, I was going off and I looked up and my phone was blank.
I tried to tell you to call back. Hello? Hello? Sweetest girl? I don't know. Maybe it's where you are. Maybe you're not having good service. I don't know.
Or they could, like Diddy, he have all these women to concubine, and he still wasn't satisfied. He still wanted more and more.
Okay. We missed like the first minute, but the audio came back up because we didn't hear nothing you said before. You heard me? Okay. Sweetest girl, I think you where you are, it's coming in and out. Okay. So maybe call back when you're more like in a stable connection, okay? All right, y'all. The link is up in case anybody want to come up. Please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. And like I said previously, please donate to the channel. It helps us grow. It helps us build. I've been working, okay? So support. I'm paying for a lot of shit up here. So all donations are thoroughly appreciated. She said her daughter is 23 and she doesn't want any children. Good for her. She might change her opinion one day. She might not. But I'm just happy that we are not at a place anymore where we're burdened with the expectations. because those are the ones that aren't going to be nurturing, right? Having a baby when you really don't want to, when you really don't want no kids, right? Those are the parents that I think hindsight 2020 are the ones who they raising them, but you might not get the best experience because they didn't want you. They felt like they were forced to and they had no choice. So I'm happy that these children are going into only having children if they actually want to, and not because mommy want me to, or because people expect me to. Nah. I learned later my mom what I learned later my mom learned all this from my granny and still was a dummy. Didn't pass anything on to me, but learned later from my granny. Oh, okay. She said, I'll be wanting to help everyone. You kind of gotta help yourself. We're at that point. We're at that. If we didn't know before, we definitely know now. You know, I like to help people but like if it's of the if it's at a detriment of me, I'm good. I've learned to just cut shit real quick, real fast, and I ain't going back. Friendships, relationships, whatever. I don't even play them games. I'm cutting it because I've been in too many situations, fuck, just with friends back in my 20s, and you showing me you a snake. But I don't want to believe that you that much of a snake. It's giving people friendship opportunities that still ended up a couple of years later being the same snake I knew they were in our 20s. You know? It's like it's cool to want to be helpful, but it should not be at the detriment of yourself. You know, it was cool, you know, my helping my homegirl, you know, because she didn't have nowhere to go. But the reality is, when I finally put her out, you know what she did? She found somewhere to go. I would have, you know, yeah, it was cool. But like, I could have had my apartment to myself and been alone and would have been just fucking fine. And it would have been just fucking fine. You know, I even think hindsight 2020, but you know, I thought about this. Even when I started dating who I ended up being married to, part of that was also to kind of mentally, without recognizing it at the time, but again, hindsight 2020, was getting her to fuck up out my house. So like, okay, you gotta go because I'm messing with him and he's gonna be here a lot all the time, and you wilding and you good to do, ain't paying nothing and da. But I think that if I was alone, like I should have, like my mama meant for me to be when she got me that apartment, you know, without my homegirl there being a burden all the time, that it would have been, that my life would have been fine. It would have been a lot better. I'd have been able to do more, date more, not have to worry about taking care of not only myself, but you know, making sure that there's food in the house, making sure that I'm there, you know, because you know, you don't want to be lonely and shit like that. When I could have been off living my life, flying and going places and all of this shit, money that I could have been spending on that, you know, buying groceries, or when I'm, you know, even if I'm buying McDonald's, I'm buying for two instead of just me. You know, I don't buy these niggas much of shit. So, you know, but in a situation like that, it's my homegirl. She ain't got it. You know, I got a good job. She worked in fast food. I got, you know, I buy some shit. Oh, I got it. Oh, we going to this party. Don't worry about it. I got it. You some weed. I got it. You some liquor. I got it. I was funding 2 whole adults. And it was great to be, you know, because it was crazy. Her mom put her out. It was wild. But hindsight 2020, I took major L's. And then I still ended up being a bad guy. I took major fucking L's to be helpful, to be a decent person. And it just was a catalyst, honestly, into this other fucked up situation. The word no is a full stop. Full stop. Like now, full stop. I don't even play with people. I don't even play those games no more. Okay. She said, London. I don't even know if London, are you a girl or boy? Interesting take, and something to certainly think about. Not sure I look at black guys with the other groups, for example, because so much of the decisions is on some form of abnormality, but certainly. Okay. Um, DC, did you get hacked? Okay. Yeah, the system keeps restarting. I'm just gonna stay in the chat. Okay. Okay. Um, these days I'm happy. She said, yeah, it's common to hear these days. I'm happy for them also. Man, I'm missing everything. Please go back to 3. All right, y'all. So when we have a good talk, it be hitting that hour and passing it, and I don't even realize because I don't be looking at the time when we having a good conversation. When we talk about shit that I'm like, oh my God, I'm always looking at the time, like, when can I get the fuck up out of here? But we are an hour and 11 minutes in, 12 now. And I just realized that because I just looked at it, okay, because the chat is done. She said, oh, what she said? Man, I'm missing everything. Please go back to 3. Oh, I think that's 6 p.m. your time. Okay. I get what you're saying. I've been working on it. I'm trying to do both one day noon, one day whatever, based off what I have to do for the day. So I'm gonna try again 6, 8 later times. I know it works a lot better for other people, and I'm gonna try to keep it going the way I've been going the last 2-3 weeks. I've been enjoying it. I'm not burnt. I don't feel burnt out. I don't even feel anywhere near burnt out. I don't feel stressed out about none of this stuff. It's just I'm just getting things done, and I'm proud of myself. I got a fucking book and a calendar. It's a YouTube shopping book. They gave me the YouTube shopping book. I got like 3 of these hoes, and I'm just filling it up and making checks and like getting things done. So I'm excited. If y'all see any of my shorts, please make sure y'all click on them, okay? Even if you watch the video, click on your girl's shorts. Run these shorts up, okay? Because I'm putting in a lot of work getting them prepared for y'all, okay? I got my calendar. I got my posting calendar scheduled about 3 weeks so far, and I just really started this scheduling post Tuesday. Like I used to do it, but like currently I really just started, and I am already into like week 3. I'm trying to adjust it so so different posts come up, so it's not just the same video posted for 2 weeks. I'm trying to adjust them. But please support your girl. Like I said, if you can, you already know. Oh, almost forgot. I almost forgot. I was about to get out of here without giving her a shout out. Yesterday, Sharita. I wasn't even on here yesterday. I was posting, but I didn't come live. I was on here editing and stuff, but Sharita sent me $20. She said, Joe, she had hashtag joy. Wonderful video. Thank you. So thank you, Sharita. She donated $20 yesterday. It is thoroughly appreciated. I completely forgot. And so I was just about to click off and was like, oh shit. Okay. So yeah. Thank you for all donations. It's thoroughly appreciated. You already know, even if you do it when you're not live, when we not live, I'll shout you out. If you want to be anonymous, just put ANY in capitalization, or just write out the whole anonymous, and you'll be anonymous number whatever. It is thoroughly appreciated. Thank y'all so much. She said, some people do bad the more you. Yes. That's why I said, I think if I would have just let her fall, or let a lot of people back, especially back then, fall, like trying to be helpful. Oh, I can't kick this nigga out. He ain't got nowhere to go. You know, like thinking about other people more than I'm thinking about myself. Like you always choose you, ladies. I don't care if he, she, it gonna be fucked up and homeless. They will find, you know what they will do? Find a way. You know what they will always do? Find a fucking way. They gonna do it when they have you there. They gonna let you think it's they fucked up. They ain't gonna do it. They gonna find a way. Worry about yourself. She said, I will always the pick up at the airport friend, but those people still don't call and check on me to this day. Thank you. Thank you for clicking on my shorts and TikTok. Again, I'm posting on the Instagram. I'm posting the shorts on the Instagram, the TikTok, the YouTube. The Twitter for the few people who still have Twitter. Yeah, I think that's it. Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. I feel like it's somewhere else. Hold on. I'm about to tell you right now. The Facebook. Yes, I knew I was missing something. And the Facebook. Y'all know I don't even be on Facebook, but I'm testing it. We're going to see how well it does. And I might just cut out Facebook completely. But we'll see. I'm giving all of this. I'm going hard for the next like month and a half and see how it plays out. So all the support. Blue Sky. You cannot stream on Blue Sky. You can't post from the thing. I can post it on Blue Sky, but it'll be a separate thing. You know, I'm on the app, and you know, it's a social media SMM. It sends it to everything. Having to do them one at a time is exhausting. Okay, y'all. It takes up so much fucking time. So again, like I said, I've been spending money. Okay, I paid for AI. I paid for video editing. I paid for SMM services, so I consolidate it because it's a lot. Again, it's a lot of work to be a creator. It's a lot of time and it's a lot of work, and I'm trying to work smarter, not harder. Okay, and working smarter, not harder, you know what it does? It costs money. So all donations are always appreciated. Like I said, it helps run the channel. Just put no shout out. If you don't want to shout out at all and you just want to donate to the channel, that's perfectly okay. Just put no shout out. I'm gonna start saying that because maybe that's what be holding people back too. I'm gonna just say no shout. Just put no shout out, and I won't say anything. Again, if you want to be anonymous and want your message read, just put ANY and put your message. Or if you just want to send me a message, put no shout out and just write your message, and that's it. Okay. I didn't think about that, but you're right, because everybody does not want their message read. You're right. Everybody don't want other people to know. That's why we have so much anonymouses. So especially anonymous number one, she is not at all. So I get that. So if you don't want your message read at all, you just want to do something good for the channel, just put no shout out, and I appreciate you. Okay. But I'm gonna get up out of here. Okay. I'm gonna go work out, sweat a little bit, you know, and get cute. I'm gonna see if I come on and do a live tomorrow. But even if I don't, I have videos scheduled. And all of them aren't shorts. All of them aren't short. Some of them will come up in videos because they're different lengths. Okay. So I have, like I said, I have shit scheduled every fucking day so far for 3 weeks. And I got another video that I'm now putting in the calendar. And I'm about to have, you know, we already got our shorts set up I'm about to have the short set up for the next 2 months. So just support the channel. You are thoroughly appreciated. And as always, I hope you live your life like it's golden, because there's no other way to live it.